Hi, in this video we're going to get to know the iPad's App Store, where you download different apps for your iPad. I'm going to tap the App Store icon on my home screen, and when it opens up I'll be presented with the featured page in the App Store. If you've already been using it, it might open up to a different page, but this is where you start, and this is sort of Apple's main page for advertising what's going on in the App Store. A couple of things to note. First, at the very top of the page, there's this large banner that rotates through about 5 different apps or types of apps that Apple wants to highlight for you. I'm recording this just before the Olympics, so clearly there's stuff about the Olympics. Back to school is coming up, so there's information about apps for college. If you want more information on any of them, you can just tap and you'll be taken to information about the app. So for example, tapping on London actually takes me to a page with different apps available there. I'm going to tap the App Store button up in the navigation bar to go back. Below the large featured area, you'll notice there's a block that says New and Noteworthy. And it lists a few different apps, and this is just one out of 4 different screens. Notice the little dots that I can look at. I'm just going to scroll through them by using my finger. Below that, there are a couple of other types of featured apps. So for example, there's one about football. If you're interested in football, which we around here call soccer, that's featured for the week. And then Apple will change all these different categories from time to time. The store is seasonal, and you'll see that reflected in the kinds of apps that they show. You'll always want to be on the lookout for free apps, so this one right here that says Great Free Apps might be of interest to you. And at the bottom of the page, you're always going to find sort of this little block that has your Apple ID, options for redeeming gift cards. You can start asking your friends and family for iTunes or App Store gift cards for Christmas. And you can also then look at things like apps for college, essentials, things that Apple thinks you might want to take a look at. So this is the new page. These are apps that are fairly new that Apple wants to show you. At the top of your screen, you'll also see there's a couple of other things I can toggle between. What's hot shows me the same kind of information, but now these are things that people around the world are downloading a lot of, and that seems to be very popular. The page is laid out in the exact same way, with a featured area, scrollable blocks, a few categories. And then there's also the release date option here at the top, which actually just gives you a chronological display of applications that were added to the App Store. This might not be actually all that helpful, but it does group them by date, and it appears to be somewhat alphabetical. So that's the featured page. I'm going to go back to the new page, and I'm going to find an app that looks to be of interest to me. So I see that there's a thing for apps for college. I'm going to tap on that. It's going to take me to this area, and I'm going to take a look at these different apps. One that I see could be really useful for mathematics is Wolfram Alpha. When I see a block about an app, it tells me a few things. It tells me the name of the app, the category, when it was updated, and shows me some ratings, and then the price. Wolfram Alpha is $1.99, which means it's an app I'd have to pay for. But I can learn more about it for free. I'm going to tap it, and it takes me to the page for the app. At the top of the page, there's a description and a description of what's new in this version. Both of those have little more options that you can tap to see more. My favorite part is always that below those, apparently way below in this case, you see some screenshots from the app, and you can swipe between these to get an idea of what the app looks like. And below that are customer ratings, and customers can provide, and that means you too once you start using apps, can provide star ratings as well as textual descriptions. Certainly if you're going to be spending money on an app, you want to read the reviews first and see if it's an app that you might want to purchase. At the bottom of the page, you can also see that Apple recommends other kinds of apps that people who bought this app also have purchased, kind of the recommendations that are common everywhere on the internet now. This was a really long page. If I want to get back to the top, here's a little secret, and this works in a lot of Apple apps. Just tap at the top of the screen on that little bar at the very top, and you'll scroll all the way up. On the left side, you'll see some information. You'll see the price, you'll see the size, language, and then there are a few buttons for things like going to the developer's website. That's the person who created the app. Shows you some apps that they've also created that you might be interested in. If I actually wanted to buy the app, I would just tap on the price, and then you can see that it says buy app. When I tap that again, so it's 2 taps to make it happen, you'll be asked to enter your Apple ID password. I'm not going to actually buy this app, but you would enter your password and hit OK, and then it would start downloading, and the app would show up on your home screen where you could move it around wherever you wanted it to be. A lot of apps in the App Store are free, and we'll talk about that in a later video, in which case you don't need to actually pay for them, but it will still ask for your password. Although I've heard a rumor that in iOS version 6, which will be coming out in September of 2012, you won't need to actually provide a password for free apps anymore. So that's what an app page looks like. I can navigate back using the option in the toolbar there. And that's the basics of using the App Store.